Hello everyone, and Happy New Year. Welcome to the first episode of 2023 of Venture Forward. Venture Forward, if you're not already familiar, is more or less a personal vlog about overland travel and four-wheel drive exploration, with some hiking from time to time too. I started this video series back in 2017 without any expectation that it would become a thing. And here we are in 2023, still going strong and still out here exploring. I got a late start today because my Jeep Orangie hadn't been out on adventure since before the holidays. So I had to organize, shuffle some gear around, and I had some moldy hamburger rolls in my food bin, stuff like that. But I did manage to get out here into southern Arizona's backcountry, and I found this campsite right before sunset. I'm running a little low on daylight. The camera's making it look brighter than it actually is out here. And right on time I found this great dispersed campsite. This will do nicely for tonight. I have a great view to the west, and my camera's already up over there recording the sunset, which was beautiful. Venture Forward is proudly supported by OK Four-Wheel Drive and also by Patreon. If you enjoy watching and you want to retrace my steps, my detailed GPS data is available to Patreon subscribers. It is time to do the internet. Look for some white hot memes. See you in the morning. There's some mining activity in the area, and last night one of the mines down in the valley had a spotlight shining, and it illuminated these surrounding mountains. So I got my camera and I took a long exposure. I hope it came out okay because it looked really cool. The trail keeps going, but there is a considerable descent and ascent beyond this point. I think it's too gnarly for a solo act. It's not bad. I see clean lines all the way down. It's just steep down into the canyon and then again back out of the canyon. Honestly, it looks like a lot of fun. And even if you think it's within your limits, you have to ask yourself, well, what would recovery look like if something went awry? And that's the problem. Too much risk if something goes sideways. And if you know me and you know Venture Forward, I'm not out here to wheel. I'm not looking for a challenge. I'm looking for remote places. It just so happens that a lot of these remote places have gnarly tracks. There's our trail. The sun's getting low in the sky. I covered a lot of ground, but not quite as much as I wanted to. It's really slow going. The terrain is so rough. But it is 4 o'clock p.m. and I'm going to try to find a place to camp for the night. I'm getting a little bit hungry. Here's a nice little campsite here. Oh, and a cow. Well, it's a quiet little campsite, but it's right at a junction. There are cows around. I'm gonna keep rolling, try to find someplace different, someplace nicer. I found a really nice place to spend the night, right on the other side of this creek crossing, under a large tree. There's a stone fire ring here. It's a decent sized clearing. Good privacy, at least in January. This little guy emerged from near the big tree and then strolled past me very casually. So for the rest of the night, my head was on a swivel. The last thing that I needed was getting sprayed by a skunk. Trying to talk to the camera. Of course, there's the loudest jet ever passing by. Potted meat for dinner tonight. Let's be perfectly clear. I don't condone spam. I think that it's a sin against nature, except when you grill a slice of it and put it on a grilled cheese sandwich. That's the only exception. It's delicious. You know, I pride myself on adventure, four-wheel drive exploration, and photography. If you're interested in food content, there are better channels to watch, and I apologize. I mean, this still looks good, but please don't unsubscribe. This is fine. What I said earlier holds true about the spam, but this is fine. It's my fault. I charred the bread a little bit too much. That's what I love about Arizona, the variety. One moment you could be in a desert surrounded by saguaros, and the next moment you can be down in a grassy, green, verdant valley with a babbling creek flowing by. It's absolutely stunning, and the whole state is full of surprises. Speaking of surprises, I have some exciting news to share. A couple of personal items. When I was back in Pennsylvania over the holidays, my son Cole, who just turned 20 years old, who is going to school for commercial aviation, took me up on a solo flight, just he and I, for the very first time. The flight was in a Cessna, and it only lasted 2 hours, but it's a memory that's going to last a lifetime. I don't quite know how to describe the feeling because it seemed like just yesterday he was a young boy, and today he's piloting an aluminum tube up in the sky. He did so with confidence, care, and expertise, and it absolutely blew my mind. I was so proud of him that I was almost in tears when we touched down. Also, Shannon and I bought a house. That's right, we have a home base now after almost 6 years of full-time mobile living. This was unexpected. It's as if at some point last year something inside me snapped, almost like someone flipped a switch. I'm positive that buying a house had a lot to do with the events of last year, especially the passing of my mom. That time that I spent over the summer with family reminded me what it was like to have a home, to be in a place of comfort that didn't feel temporary, that you could belong and grow and cultivate family. Yes, mobile living is fun, it's exciting, you travel and see new places, but there's a constant sense of impermanence that does take its toll after so long. So after living in vehicles for close to 6 years, I turned to Shannon and I asked her, how do you feel about getting a house and settling down somewhere? She hadn't been on the road for quite as long as I have, but she was open to the idea. I think that she was also excited about the possibilities of having her own place. So here we are. It all came together, and now we have a modest little house as our home base. There's also a single car garage where I can tinker with the Land Rover, and, well, the garage is a little bit rough. I hope that one day I can repair or rebuild the structure, but it's good enough for right now. In the context of Venture Forward, my video series, it's not going to change much. As you can see, I'm out here doing it right now, so more local exploration, extended trips. In fact, I'm gearing up for my first extended trip next week. I'm going to start working my way up to Utah in the van to pick up the Land Rover Defender that I abandoned last April, and then tow it back home, store it in the garage, and you're coming with me. This is beautiful. I found another nice, secluded, dispersed campsite at the base of this grassy canyon. And there's a stone fire ring behind me. There's some signs of human life, so it isn't perfect, but the scenery is spectacular, with a mesa there, a deep canyon there, and I can hear a waterfall over there. I'm gonna check it out. Alright, I'm all aired up and back on pavement. And when I go out exploring like this, what I'm really looking for is a through road. That's the holy grail, an overland route that's scenic and interesting that goes from point A and then lets out at point B. I did not find that on this adventure, but I did find a really interesting network of primitive four-wheel drive roads. I spent the night at 2 lovely dispersed campsites, and there were numerous others that would have been good options. Although not absolutely required, most of the tracks that I ran on benefited from high clearance oversized tires. There seemed to be a lot of mining operations, both current and ancient, and there's a lot of ruins, building foundations, so there's a lot of history back there. The only possible through road might have been that rugged four-wheel drive track that I bailed on, and I'd be interested in checking that out, but if you attempt that, you're going to want multiple vehicles just in case. Overall, it was a very scenic and interesting area, and I would recommend it for a few days of four-wheel drive adventure. I'd very much love to go back. Again, this detailed GPS data is available to Patreon subscribers. I'm going to call that a wrap for this episode. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you again next week.